Hi, welcome back to Fearbuster. My name is Lauren Rosenberg. I'm your host today, and today we're going to talk about unusual fear. For those of you who actually suffer from an unusual fear, today we're actually going to talk about fear and phobia of stickers. I don't even know if my guests know that there is a name for it, but apparently there is a name for fear of stickers. They basically we're taking the pitakion, who is a Greek word for label and ticket, and in Latin it's also pitasium. So basically the combined words comes and we call the fear of stickers pitakonophobia, irrational fear of stickers and label. So and not many people would have an irrational fear of stickers, and I sort of did do some research, and it's quite rare. But I have the pleasure to have my special guest today for you, Sarah, who have noticed, and she will share with us how many years, a fear of stickers or labels. So let's talk about it. So hi, Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. So fear of stickers. Where does that come from? How do you know that you have fear stickers?
I really don't have much idea actually of where it's come from. I just know that ever since I was really small, I just absolutely detested them. And I think actually it's a bit strange because I think my cousin has the same phobia, so perhaps it
Oh.
was something that happened when we were together. I'm
And
not
is
sure.
your cousin older or younger?
She's pretty much exactly the same age as me. She's only a month younger than me, and we're
Okay.
very similar. We used to play together
Mhm.
a lot. So yeah, I only found that out this year actually, which I find quite amusing. But yeah, ever since I was really small, I just couldn't stand them, especially at school. You know, when boys will play around with like sellotape and things like that and put it over their mouth, oh god, no.
So it's not just fear of stickers or labels or just what would trigger. So sellotape, that's one. So it's like the sticky part of it, or what's the
Yeah, I
yeah.
suppose so. Like I can handle it, you know, like I'll wrap presents and things. I hate it. Like when people cut sellotape with their mouth, like that just sends me over the edge. Can't stand it.
And
Yeah,
how did you so when you see a parcel, for example, there's a label on a parcel. Does that
yeah.
what's the what's it like?
So it's okay. I feel like it's okay when it's like on something and like the sticky part isn't touching me or like there's no chance that it will be touching me. But it's when I have to like remove labels, for example. Like I don't really like doing that. Like removing price tickets off presents to give to people, things like that.
So
Or
are you able to do that or not? Or
I can, I just don't like it. So
okay.
I will do it. I just don't like it.
When you think of fear of stickers, how do you know that this how do you know that there's the sticking parts and that you don't like? How do you know that it's hard to take a label off or price label off?
Um, That's a really interesting question. I haven't really thought about that before. How do we know we don't like something? Gosh.
So if you had a parcel like okay, you're buying a Christmas present for someone and it's got the price on it and you want to wrap it and you need to take the price label off. What would
Yeah.
what would be that how do you know that you have this fear?
Um, I think it would just be something in my belly that I don't like.
Okay, so what would be the
It's not
sensation?
like, pardon?
So what sensation would it be? What is that feeling?
Um, Kind of like, I suppose, a little bit like butterflies, but very different to say, um, if I've been watching like a horror film and I'm like physically scared, like frightened. It's very different to that. It's more of kind of like a knowing that I have to do something and not really enjoying it, but going through with it anyway, like in my tummy.
Okay. And did you so you said you've had it for such a long time. So was that affecting school or labels or in front, I mean on books or anything like that, or was that okay?
Um, it was okay. I'd always avoid like getting stickers as a kid in any way I could. So even at like birthday parties, for example, my mum would like sneakily put my name badge on my back, so she didn't have to deal with me like moaning that I didn't want it on me. Going to like National Trust places, like I'd always say no.
That makes me
But
think of going to a conference. You know, sometimes, I mean, now obviously we don't really do that at the moment with the pandemic, but um, when you go to a conference and they want you to have this label with your name on it,
yeah.
that would be a problem. Or even in school sometimes, you know,
Yeah, that's actually happened. Yeah, I hate it. So if I really have to, I'll just like very gingerly take it and then just like put it like on my chest and then avoid thinking about it the whole rest of the time. But I have just not done it sometimes and just made people ask me my name, which I think actually works better. Yeah.
Going to the shop, what would it be like going shopping for clothes? You okay to hold a label to look at the price?
Yeah, everything like that is absolutely fine. It's just literally like if I have to put something sticky on something or like literally stickers. So
And
I
in
once
school, you know, like in school, they do the reward chart or sometimes
yeah.
stickers. Or even when I was seeing children face to face, I would always ask, "Do you like stickers?" Because I know that some people can have fear of stickers. So I always say, "Do you like stickers or not?" And but majority of them like stickers and they always want a sticker. Or even when you go to the dentist, I mean, I'm sure you must have had, especially the dentist, usually they like give you a sticker saying, well done, you sat on a chair and you just didn't move and you let the dentist look at your teeth. So those type of things, how does that, had you've got memories about it or you remember events like this?
Yeah, thinking about it now, actually, so you know how some kids like will collect stickers and then put them on things.
Yes.
Some of my friends' children, like little children, do that, and I can't stand it. But I also, when I was younger, I had this one box full of toys, and it had stickers on from like when my sister went to dentist and things. And I just really didn't like it. I'm not sure whether it was also to do with the fact that I quite like things in their place and like my Barbies, I was not one that would like cut my Barbie's hair or like mess them up for anything. They were always immaculate. So perhaps it's something to go along with that as well. Like the whole purpose of stickers is to like kind of make things messy.
So are we talking about stickers because maybe they're not perfect or they could be the corners could not be perfect or they're not being aligned or is it
Um,
more about the sticking part?
no,
Or is it like because it's on top of something that is disturbing you?
I think it's the fact that like when they get old, for example, and it like wears away and then it just looks like really, really messy and you see like half of the sticker off, half of it on. You know, like how toilets are sometimes vandalized with stuff. It's really messy. I can't stand it like in your room, in your house. Yeah, I just really don't like that. But in terms of I think that's more just personal preference thing. In terms of me actually not wanting to like touch things, it's definitely I think the fact that it's sticky. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the sensation, a feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
So would
It's
that
so
be the
bad.
same? Would that be the same thing with blue tag?
No, actually, no, I don't. And I like plasticine and things like that. That's
Yeah, or
absolutely fine.
and touching Play-Doh and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely
That's
fine.
not.
Love it.
What about glue? You know,
Yeah.
some kids sometimes play with glue and make like sticky things in their hand, and that doesn't really.
No, I don't mind that. Like I was always that kid that like stuck their hand in the glue and then peeled it all off. Like that to me doesn't feel like the same thing.
Okay.
But for example, labeling things up, I had an internship job once where I was on like the post team and I had to label up all the samples. And I really didn't like doing that. You know, I did because I had to. I didn't want to say like, oh no, I don't want to do that.
So what would be the worst scenario that somebody was asking you to do that you like really like so would say no?
um, oh gosh. I think like if I had to, I don't know, like cut sellotape like with my teeth and then like label up loads and loads of parcels, like that would be awful. I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah.
And opening it, that's okay. Like if you get an Amazon parcel and it's got like lots of sellotape around it.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I would usually just use scissors. Thinking about it now, and what I do automatically, I generally wouldn't try and like peel it off. I just get scissors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you did had to, I mean, I know some people before they put the box in the bin, they take the label off. They're a bit.
Oh my gosh, no. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I hadn't really thought about that. No, I wouldn't do that. I guess it's for privacy reasons, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't bother doing that.
And so your friends or family, do they know about this fear, and what do they have they noticed some different behavior, or they're doing things for you, or they just
Yeah, I didn't ever really realise, but my mum, I think, because it's always been a thing ever since I was really, really little, she's kind of secretly protected me from ever having to deal with it, I think.
okay.
But I never had sticker books as a kid. I was never given them. And I just...
So no teachers saying, well done, here's a sticker, or if you were doing part of a club or something, or sport, or...
I can't really remember when I was at primary school getting stickers for anything. They'd always put them in our books, which was I was okay with that because it's like it's there now. But they've never put them on us or anything like that. Like that just didn't really happen actually at primary school with us. And my boyfriend now, for example, he'll like I'll sometimes ask him to just do it for me because I don't want to handle like taking labels off things and stuff like that.
What does he think?
He laughed when I first told him about it, but yeah, it's just one of those things. He's quite nice to me though. He wouldn't exploit it, I don't think.
So if you did have to do it, or if you did have to put a label on something, what would be, I know you said you've managed to do it in certain ways, but what would you think would happen, or what's the feeling in your body? What would happen? How do you know that you have this fear?
I think it's a little bit like I've heard some people, they have a fear of like velvet, and whenever they touch it, they just imagine like eating it or something like that. And I think it's something a little bit along those lines, like
So,
almost oral feeling.
okay, so you referred it to kids playing with sellotape and putting it on a mouse, and so is the worry that it will go into your mouth, or
maybe I don't think that's like a conscious fear, like conscious concept though.
Is it the worry about the product, or what?
I think it's about it like touching me or something, or I don't know, almost, yeah.
So and have you ever done anything about it?
Not really, no, because I wouldn't say it affects me in any way. Like it doesn't hinder anything that I want to do, or if I've really got to do something that involves loads of stickers, then I would do it. I just don't like it. It's not like I physically freeze or would say it's a really awful fear. It's just something I really don't like. So I've never done anything about it. No.
Okay. So if you did have we could try something if you want to now.
Yeah, sure.
So Sarah, if you had, for example, a parcel, or you would have to do put some stickers on labels, maybe on put some like labeling some bottles, or maybe even like, you know, when people sometimes they cook and they put some labels on the food, so they before they put it in the freezer, so they know what they made. So if you had to do something, or either, what's the difference? Touching something with a sticker that would that trigger something, or if you had to put the sticker on it, or if the sticker would be damaged? And what?
I'd say so. Like if I had to put the sticker on something, like I could do that. It's just I'd like try not to touch the sticky bit really. And then if I, for example, when you said about putting in the freezer, my mind just went to like imagining that like sticker all like really wet and minging, and when you have to like take it off again, that's kind of gross. So I think those two things perhaps would be the ones.
So tune into one, picks one, that's not too bad. But and then could you tell me where do you feel that in your body? How do you know that there's something that's disturbing you? Where do you feel that in your body? Is it in your head, in your stomach? Is it in your heart? What does that feel like if you had to do that?
So I think it's like in my chest area. In my chest, in my tummy.
And if you had to put a color to it, what color would it look like?
Kind of like a deep orange.
Deep orange. Okay. And does it has a shape to it? This feeling? Deep
no.
Orange? Okay. No, and if you had to pick a color to get rid of this deep orange feeling, what color would you pick?
Light turquoise.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that was so quick. They're complimentary.
So, okay. So, would you mind, with your permission, just taking a deep breath, closing your eyes, if that feels comfortable for you, and send that turquoise into your body, pushing that orange feeling out. Just remind yourself you're safe. Just see that nice turquoise going in, lifting, making it lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, allowing that orange to be either to shrink or to move somewhere else or to be smaller. And just remind yourself that you're safe. Also, tell your mind that all those years of having this fear may have helped you in certain ways. So you can say thank you to the fear. But now it's time for you to give yourself permission to allow it to go, and then see that nice, beautiful turquoise going in, lifting, making it lighter and lighter and lighter. And take your time and then notice what I feel like. What is that orange feeling like? Is it still there? Is it as heavy as it is? Has it changed? Is it moved somewhere else? Where's that gone? And then whenever you want, you can just take a deep breath and open your eyes. So which one did you think about? The one in the freezer, or the just putting labels on boxes?
I was thinking about the one in the freezer.
Okay, so thinking about the one in the freezer, was that feel like now? That feeling, that orange feeling, like, is it different? Is it the same? Is it slightly changed? What's that feel like?
I think the whole exercise was just quite calming. So thank you for that. That was quite nice.
You're welcome.
I think
turquoise is always a very nice color for healing. Yeah. That is usually, I mean, healing is usually blue, light blue, but turquoise has a special connotation to it. So that's a good color to go in. Orange has a connotation of fire, anger, connecting to it. So if you actually put some turquoise in it, then you will automatically feel calmer in a sense. So but how big is that orange feeling left, if it's still there? And is that changed? Is it different? Thinking about those labels in the freezer.
So I kind of imagine when it comes into myself, like imagining that color seeping in, almost as though there was like a little Sarah shaped cutout, and then, you know, like the turquoise is like filling in, like seeping in like water. And so there's probably like an eighth, I think, of the orange color left.
Okay, good. Yeah. And so what would we need to actually get rid of this orange or make it even smaller? Do we need the same color or a different color?
Maybe some pink.
Okay. Dark pink, light pink?
Like fuchsia, bright fuchsia.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do that again. So notice what I feel like if you had to maybe open the freezer, see those containers with labels that are not, not the way you like. They're wet and they're peeling off and sticky. Notice that feeling, and then send that nice fuchsia going in, lifting, making it lighter and lighter. Just see the nice fuchsia river, a nice river flooding in, going in, lifting and taking whatever's orange left. And just remind your mind that it's safe. It's just a bit of energy block in the body. That's all it is, nothing else. We're just allowing the energy flowing in the body. That's all we're doing. We're not taking even anything away. We're just allowing it to flow nicely, and we're just changing it. So just send that color, that nice fuchsia going in, almost like a fast river, going in, lifting in and out, basically. And then just whenever you want, just notice what I feel like, that orange feeling, and just let me know when you want what I feel like.
Yeah, I think there isn't very much orange left. I'm not sure, like with these visualization things, I think
that's okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm a really imaginative person, and also like artist, designer. So
yeah, so
it really appeals to me. Yeah. So if someone imagines, like, if I think about like colors, and then I'm immediately I create that in my mind, and it's very enjoyable for me. Like I like thinking about that. So I'm not sure whether it's like the distraction that then brings calm because I'm enjoying the process. So then if I then think about like those stickers, I'm not so worried about them because I've got the distraction, and it's kind of brought me back into reality.
So the idea of, just at the moment, we're just doing a little bit. We're just shifting a little bit of energy block in the body, that every time you see a sticker that is especially damaged, because that has a bit bigger reaction and with a stickiness, that your subconscious mind has connecting it to something that doesn't feel right and maybe even dangerous, and that creates energy block in the body. So what we're doing, we're just a little bit, just making it a little bit easier, just to allow a bit of ease, and literally releasing the energy block in the body using a color. So yes, you're detracting your mind, but you're also acting on the energy that's blocking the body, that is placed and set in wherever you feel it, and you then allowing it to not longer be there, so that when you're back in the trigger, you're not going to feel the same, because you've already shifting that energy that's blocking the body. Like when you have a radiator and it doesn't really heat, and you take the little key and you take the air out, and then you get the heat. So it's a bit like that. What we're doing, we're just releasing what's in the way, what's blocking, in order to get the flow that actually is going to work fine. And once you've got the flow, and once the energy is flowing nicely in the body, then there's no fear, and you can just do things like everybody else. You wouldn't react. It would be just a sticker, where at the moment that there is a connotation of something else in it. So just going back to the image that you were thinking about, the labels and the stickers in the freezer, that big orange feeling that you had before, what's that feel like now?
It feels a lot smaller, so it's more like of a blob now rather than
yeah. So that's just a little sample, basically, of what I would do. If I had, in fact, I did have somebody, out of all the fears I've done, I did fear of stickers and label. It was label. I had one lady, because she couldn't go to the shops. She didn't like the labels hanging on each item, so she would never. She didn't go to shop for a long time, until we actually cleared the fear, and then she could go back into the shop. So I was more the label hanging than the actual sticker. But it was also stickers was connected to school, and the labels were more like going into the shops, because this is where she was. It was interfering in her with her. But this just using color is just sort of a coping mechanism, where you start just allowing to feel lighter, and just it's a little bit easier. But obviously there will be having to look into deeper what it means, what the stickiness, the touching, the sensation. There will be a whole range of things looking at what the fear, to actually clear it completely. But you mentioned also work. So you don't need to use anything sticky or anything in your work, or it doesn't interfere at all?
No, it doesn't interfere. So on a day-to-day basis, I'll be designing for various clients, taking Zoom calls, maybe some post, but not to the point where it would interfere. Like, for example, you mentioned about that lady, like nothing like that. Like I can go to the shops absolutely fine.
You just remind me, you were talking about a post. Some envelopes sometimes when you want to work, when you need to open them,
Yeah.
they have the sticky. So either when you open them or when you want to close them, they have that little tape that you can just pull out, and then it's sticky, and then you just close it.
Yeah.
Would that be a problem, or is that?
No, I like that. I really like that.
Ah.
What I don't like is when like you have to lick them. Can't stand that.
Oh yeah, that, and
Yeah.
especially now in pandemic, I don't think it would
Yeah.
be. That is a big no, I would say. Just listeners, I'm sure this is like a big no, not to definitely not to lick those labels, that's for sure. Those envelope, I should say. But it's actually strange, no, that would be okay, because that's like you taking that little strip off and then you're folding it, and
Yeah.
this doesn't matter.
I think it's almost, when you mentioned that, it made me think about, like, you always do with ASOS parcels, for example, like when you send back an ASOS parcel and
Yes.
then it's either return. But that's like a plastic base. But when I think about stickers and me not liking them, or like envelopes and having to like lick the envelope, they're all paper. So maybe it's something to do with that as well. But then sellotape, I don't know where that comes in.
So the stickers has to be more like paper, because paper, I presume, it can get damaged in a sense, maybe.
Yeah.
But the actual envelope, which I think is very handy, because you don't have to actually, especially now, I'm sure they'll stop making those envelopes that you have to but the one that you actually just take the strip off and then close it, they are quite neat. And I know that you mentioned something, you don't like stickers when they get damaged and when they get wet, or the corners are not neat. So in the envelope, I was thinking, if you close it properly, then you have actually a line and it's like all perfect. And there could be an underlining things about perfection, that if things are not perfect, then I may not like it, or it may disturb you.
Yeah.
Have I touched something different?
Yeah, I am somewhat of a perfectionist. Something that I've been working on to try and overcome the past few years, especially in my own business. So yeah, I think you're quite right in that it could definitely be related to that, especially when I think about how little children will put like loads of stickers on their arms and things like that, and I can't stand it. And maybe that's something messy.
So would that be also, like the tattoos that you can transfer? Would that be something, would that also affect you? Or sometimes when you go to party, kids have those little stickers that you could put on your skin, and then you put glitter on it, and then you peel it off and it stays on your skin. Well, those type of things, that would be, I think I touched something like...
Yeah, I wouldn't be down with that.
No.
Yeah, things touching your skin that's like a sticker that could just then come off, like plasters. So that's one thing, I suppose.
Oh yeah, what would you do? Yeah, so if you have a little cut, what would you do?
So I and this is again something that I think my mum helped with, like when I was little. So I'm fine with those. You can get plasters that are like fabricy. They're almost like a fabric texture, and that's fine. I can deal with that. But I really don't like the ones that are like kind of rubbery or plasticky. Yeah, and I think I always avoided them. Like when I was at school, if I got hurt, I do what I can to avoid having to have a plaster.
Okay, so we're talking about the actual texture of the actual sticker itself. So what would it be like if you touch something that's plastic? Is that a plastic bag or something like the texture? Would that also create something? Or
no, it wouldn't.
More like something like it has to be sticky and plasticky.
Yeah.
And messy in that sense.
Yeah, I think
that would be the worst thing. Those three together would be like That would be not a no-go, basically.
Yeah.
So, but and also part of being a perfectionist there. Yeah, I would say perfectionist is quite hard because if you never know where do you stop if it's perfect. So, and sometimes that can stop you to actually get your project out. And so you I always say like try to think like if it's 7 out of 10 is good enough and you can still get it out, because otherwise it'll never get out, and if then no one will ever see it. So then it's just like, oh, this work for nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but so you're a designer.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you design? What's
Yeah, so I've been designing for just over a decade now. Originally, I studied contour fashion at university. So that is the design of corsets, lingerie, swimwear, activewear, and nightwear. So all quite like tight fitting, more technical pattern cutting, especially. And from then on, I've worked at brands like Misguided and Summers, Marks and Spencer, all sorts of like high street brands. And
creating, designing?
mostly designing lingerie, also doing activewear, nightwear, and children's wear. So I lived in Belgium for a little while designing children's wear for C&A, like nightwear. And I set up my own business last July, which was more out of the love of just doing loads of different projects, and the fact that I like the freedom that freelancing brings. So now I do a lot of work with small brands, so people that want to start their own business, and also freelancing. So my work is in like Georgia, Asda, nightwear, Primark,
Okay.
really huge range of things. Yeah.
And does that involve touching the fabric?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm trying to see
yeah.
how there's definitely something about the touch and the sensation, and so I'm just trying to see how does that. Yeah. So how does that involve? What? Yeah. How just can you tell us
I don't think there's any correlation
the
between.
sensitivity? How do you choose the so I'm just thinking, because I know the definition you said is the touching, is the yucky feeling, is you're using your hand and touching probably a lots of materials, lots of different texture. So
Yeah.
hands are probably more sensitive in that sense, because I don't know, when you design clothes or you're looking at different type of texture. And so, I mean, do you want to explain a little bit of how you do it? I'm just trying to see how those sticking labels comes into.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of choosing fabrics, often I would get them sent to me like examples and swatches, and yeah,
In
you
the
do
sample,
touch.
would they have so I know when I wanted to choose, for example, a carpet floor, yeah. So I know that I got some sample, and at the back of each little sample of carpet there was a sticker and saying what it is. So all those type of things would have stickers in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
So that's okay, or
That's okay. Because I think because it is like all really neat and the sticker's there and it's not gonna come off really. So I think that kind of thing is okay. I'm fine with that. Again, maybe it is because of that neatness coming in.
yes, definitely.
And it's a bit of control as well. Like I have control over that. It's not just gonna put someone's gonna like shove a sticker onto me or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Did that ever
interesting.
happen? Did that ever happen as a child that somebody put a sticker on you?
Yeah, it happened like like birthday parties, or if you go, I used to go to like national trust places with my family, and like someone would just think it would be a great idea to like put a sticker on me, and I'd be like, oh, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's a good idea. So,
Yeah, and then I just like surreptitiously like take it off and then like put it somewhere else.
but at least you're able to touch it. That's the idea.
Yeah, I would. I just like I could not have it on me the whole time. Like that would not be a thing.
And
In terms of, sorry, go
you
on.
choose. Sorry. So you choose a pattern. You choose the actual. So there's no label involved, or I mean, how do you? Or there would be, but you're just avoiding it. You don't need to. Like, how would you know? Like, this is this this material for this pattern and this.
Yeah, absolutely. So most things I use more permanent labeling systems, like more folders and filing systems for that kind of thing. What I do think might relate is last year I was the costume designer for an opera, and obviously, you have a choir which had about 60 people, male and female, and then you've got the cast, you've got everyone working on it, and so all the costumes had to be labelled up.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't really have to do much of that, which I was quite happy about. And I actually used, instead of stickers, I used like hang tags because they wouldn't come off. You could put them actually in the labels and then we'd sew on the labels. So it was actually a better way of doing it. It's more long lasting. The things that were just like stickered up, again, it was like all really neat. And so it didn't really bother me too much. Also, I had like a wardrobe assistant help me. So he'd often do that like before I'd even have to do it. He was super, super on it with that. So that's really the only time I think it's kind of overlapped just a little bit of my work. Yeah. But it was just managed, or I just surreptitiously did it a different way without even thinking about it. So I wouldn't consciously think like, oh my God, no, there's a sticker there, I don't want to do that. I'd instead be like, do something different without even realizing it.
Yes. And when we did the color, we used the color turquoise, and you're mentioning colors in your work. So how do you, when you design an item, I don't know if you've got an example, maybe, how do you decide the colors?
So I'm a print designer. So for example, I work on like if I design a nightwear collection for Primark, and I'll have to decide on the prints for it, like a pajama set, maybe like a graphic and a print. And so for that, I'd have to choose all the colours. So there's so many different things that come down to fashion design. You've got trends, and then general commercial choices. There's certain colours that most people will opt for in nightwear, for example. Children's wear is the same.
What color would there be for nightwear that you think that people will opt more?
So just very neutral, quite calm colours. At the moment, more like beigey, peach tones are quite in. So like greys, deep greys. I tend to avoid black in my work, just because it's quite harsh as a colour. So I don't really use it very much. So like grey, neutral blue.
Because in color therapy, and this is one therapy that I use, we always say that you can wrap yourself with a color that will make you feel safe. So if you, especially for children, so different type of color would have a different impact. Definitely blue has a healing impact. Yellow is a sense of control. So if a child would say, okay, I want more yellow, that means that the child wants to have more control in their life. So holding something yellow, if it's a stone, if it's a scarf, or wearing something yellow, that would support the child color-wise. So what we wear and the color that we actually use and wear usually have a meaning of what we like and what we need. Not subconsciously, the color that we wear is what we need. So kind of thing. So and then you can also use the colors. Obviously in color therapy you can use the colors, and it has a lot of meaning. So if somebody say a color, you would know that where to go from in their childhood, or according to what color they're saying, what's going on, and then you'll use that. So this color that are showing the fear, like usually people will, if they say, okay, I have this black feeling in my tummy, then you know that it's fear, because black is connected to fear. If they'll say gray, then you can already think of maybe there's a sense of loss or a sense of grief, because that's the connection with the color. So colors are really important, and designing where that would have, especially it would have an impact. So it's interesting that you're saying, as an expert in design, that pajamas would be soft colors.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that, and it makes sense because you wouldn't want like a bright color if you want to feel more
No,
relaxed
unless
and go
it's
to bed.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. So yeah, what you're talking about there really resonates to me. I've done quite a lot of work on colours and actually colour therapy as well. I've got a good friend, she's an artist, Rachel Ria, and I did a workshop with her about colour therapy, which was really, really great.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think personally that you can transmit a lot through colour. For example, if I do a branding project and I'll work on a client with like their logo, I'll always, educate them a little bit about that use of colour and what the tones thereafter mean and how it could be interpreted in different ways. So it comes across like every single day working with colour. And I personally, I've always been like very drawn to like green, bright pink, yellow, orange, like sunset colours, definitely.
Definitely. So, yeah, pink. Usually we resonate pink with love. Orange, that has this connection of warmth, but also has that connection of fire. So there's two different things. Usually, a color has always like two connections, like the healing part, and sometimes, but it also tells you the other sort of part that may be deeper in that sense. So, and yellow is usually taking control, wanting more control. So definitely, but yeah, but playing with colors, especially with children, I use lots of colors, and when I get them to draw their feelings, and according to the colors that they use, it tells you a lot about them. And even if if they use like pencils, that would tell you that they have a lack of confidence, because a pencil you can actually rub off what you're actually drawing. So there's a lot of aspect that you can look at, and especially as like you designing pajama wears, you would look into the psychology of colors, and because that has a big impact on having a good night's sleep too. I mean, you want to feel nice and wrappily warm and comfortable too. So you will look at the texture, you will look at lots of different things, but that, I think, definitely the fear of stickers has something connected to perfection. Things that if the things are not neat or not in the right place, or damage, it would trigger some things. So I would reckon that the fear of stickers may have probably spread maybe in other ways, but maybe not as disturbing you, but still there. Like if something is scratched or damaged or not 100% perfect, there probably will be some irritation or something underlining there. But the good sign is, for your work, I can see how you would need that perfection, because people will expect that perfection for you to actually get that design out. So those are two ways. And what about your cousin? You mentioned your cousin's got that fear. Is it she or he?
She. At least I'm pretty sure it is. I remember having a conversation and she was like, "Oh no, I don't like that." And I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not sure if she listened to this, she'd be like, "What's she like?" I'm pretty sure she said that.
But yes, it could be different for her. It may not be the actual perfect sticker. It could be she may completely see it differently instead of seeing the stickiness. It could be a lot of different. Everybody, even if you have the same fear, it can have a completely different definition of it. But and the same thing, like somebody who doesn't have the fear of stickers, I would have a different definition of a sticker. They'll just say it's a label and it's just helping. And if you had to put the definition of stickers, you will say, what would you say? It's like,
that's
you would say to avoid. You would say like, so, and this is all about perception. Is how sometimes we forget that one word can mean a whole different things to the other person, because they may have a completely different perception about it. And so something very simple, having a child seeing the dentist, and then the dentist wanted to give a sticker like well done, something that may the child will be like so happy about it, and then in your case you'll be, oh no, I don't want it. Like you
No.
want it. So that's because that same sticker has a completely different definition. It has a completely different subconscious program, and because it's been completely programmed differently, it would have access to different, you'll give a sticker to a child who's done something and is happy, and as a reward, and he'll be really happy, and he may want even another sticker. Where for you, it would create disturbance, it would create fear, and it would also create, I think, disturbance in the pattern of what you're wearing, because it will be on top of it.
Yeah.
And as a designer, I'm pretty sure there is definitely something connected to the touch of a texture, and if you put a sticker on top of a piece of clothes, that would disturb the alignment, and there will be
yeah.
It will be, if I was getting rid of the fear, I would look at the aspect of what it means, and there's definitely more to it than that is disturbing in that sense. So that's what would be basically looking at. But luckily, it's you find ways of getting around it, and it's not disturbing on the day-to-day life in that sense. And I think, I guess the only thing that would be a problem would be if you need a plaster. But then you would be able to do it. You're not to the at the point of fear. You're not to the point of a phobia. It's just a fear, which is a difference. A fear, you can still deal with it. It's still manageable in certain ways. But a phobia is like so intense that you couldn't even touch it. Where the client that I saw, she couldn't go into the shop. She couldn't even go near a shop. Any labels, any stickers, she wouldn't be able. It would triggering it. Even in the classroom, on a wall, there's the stickers, and there's the whole that was the complete environment that it was. So that was on a different level. But at least you don't have that. So,
no.
And you managed to.
No, I'm very grateful. I don't have any phobias. And yeah, definitely.
It's definitely interesting to see that it definitely has this more to it than just the sticker. There's 3 elements of this sensation of touching, stickiness, pattern, what if it's plasticky or if it's more paper, and being damaged. So those things all together creates that. And I would reckon, if you think about it, you probably may have noticed there's other things may disturb you. Maybe if something gets old or damaged, or if it's not 100% perfect, there may be some other things gradually that will get in the way in that sense. So because if we start with a fear, the fear can be small, but if it's not dealt with, the subconscious mind living in the present time will start enlarging it and generalize more in certain ways. So there'll be gradually, as the person gets older, there will be some noticeable difference, and then you'll be more sensitive to something else in that sense, because the subconscious mind lives in the present time, but it also generalizes, and that's the problem. Is when it generalizes, it just starts getting bigger and bigger in that sense. So so if somebody wants to work with you, where can they find you, and what's the best way to get hold of you? And you work on a website, and
yes, sure. So I have a website, which is www.sarahdenisstudio.com, and I'm also on Instagram with the same so that's at Sarah Denise Studio. That's Sarah with an H, DENISE Studio. They're probably the easiest ways to get hold of me. I am on the other social places in the spectrum as well, but those are the main things. So I work.
I guess you said that you designed some pajamas for Primark, so I guess a lot of people out there have, maybe without knowing, they have
yeah, likely. I also
wearing some of your design pajamas.
Absolutely. One of my very first jobs was designing all of the 5-pair pack knicker prints for Marks and Spencer. And whenever I mentioned it, there'd always be someone at a party that had a pair on. So yeah, Yeah.
So, what's is it that you were? What's the best thing that you like designing? What was the best thing that you
My
really
favorite thing to design.
favorite? Yeah.
I love doing print. I love working with color and doing fun prints. That's why nightwear I think I enjoy so much, because you can be a little bit cheeky with it sometimes. So yeah, things that are just really fun, that people will enjoy wearing. Lingerie as well, because it can absolutely transform your image of yourself. It can really make you lift your mood. So yeah, for those reasons, I think lingerie, nice prints, quite fun things. Yeah.
So good, excellent. So Sarah, thank you so much for coming on to the show today to talk about fear of stickers and
Thank you.
labels and actually they're sticky stickers in that sense. Yeah. And thank you very much for sharing. And I'm sure that there are listeners out there who probably have the same fear. Pretty sure when we have an unusual fear, sometimes we don't talk about it, and then we realize when we start talking about it, oh yeah, somebody else has that, and somebody else has that. But thank you very much for sharing with our listeners today. And this is Fearbuster, Lauren Rosenberg. If you want to go on the show and talk about your unusual fear, feel free to contact me. And looking forward to next week talking about another fear. Bye.